Hey guys, something truly perplexing has happened over the last few days, and I wanted to fire up the camera and just do one of these unscripted, off the cuff videos to address it, to deal with it, to put it out into the ether. Let me set the stage really quick. About a week ago, I made a review video for Kevin Costner's Horizon: An American Saga. I've dated this video forever by using the name of the movie, but I made a review video about it. That video was recorded the night before the movie opened wide. And that review was posted on that Friday. So there were no other reviews available at the time of that video. And then over the weekend, all these reviews started to come out, and the mainstream media, and I'm using the term mainstream media, just hated it. I mean, they just bashed it left and right. People would go to see the movie over the weekend that had seen my video and be like, I'm so glad I didn't listen to the criticisms from the media and that I listened to you because I really enjoyed this movie. And I'm like, well, yeah, because, the media lies. And that's what this video is about. So people were like, a lot of people were like, yeah, of course. But some people were like, excuse me? The media does what? I'm like, well, the media doesn't tell the truth. The media just wants to keep you consuming. They're interested in the franchise machine. People were like, you sound crazy right now. I'm like, do I? They're like, you sound like a conspiracy theorist. Like, but it's not a conspiracy theory. We've always known that the media lies to us. They don't tell us the truth. They want to keep us distracted and fat and lazy, right? Like, that's what John Carpenter made They Live about, because he'd come through, he'd seen all this terrible stuff making movies, and he made a movie about it. He's like, well, They Live is about you take the put the glasses on, you see what's really happening. Obey, consume. That's what They Live is about, is the corruption of the media and the greed of the system. Joe Dante's Gremlins 2. He makes Gremlins. It's a huge hit. Everybody loves it. Studio's like, we got to have a Gremlins 2 there, Mr. Dante. So he's like, I'll give you Gremlins 2. And so they, and he credits a lot of that with somebody else, but one of his co-creators on that project. But Gremlins 2 is a devastating indictment on the studio machine and like the corporate machine. So this shouldn't be a surprise to anybody. I am late Generation X. So I grew up in the shadow of Vietnam. I grew up in the shadow of Watergate and Richard Nixon. And every institution that had been cherished before that was collapsing. Listen, soldiers opened fire on unarmed college students who were peacefully protesting. There was a lot of stuff that was happening that destroyed all faith in the system. And then in the 80s, the religious scene was collapsed as well, because Jim Baker, Jimmy Swaggart's, like, there was no area, there was no group of leaders or like trusted figures that was untarnished. You look at a movie like The French Connection. That's a movie about, like, hey, even the cops are racist, man. You look at Serpico. Al Pacino's one good cop surrounded by everybody who's corrupt. Growing up in the 80s, the Dukes of Hazzard was subverting the cops, right? The cops are a joke on the Dukes of Hazzard. The A-Team is subverting the military because they were, convicted of a crime that they didn't commit. Then they escaped. The military comes after them and is incompetent. They can't catch them. All these things are happening in the 70s and the 80s. This is when I'm forming, right? And so now I don't have this trust or this faith in any office, any political, any religious, any corporate entity. I just question everything because I'm like, well, nobody's telling the truth. Everybody's got a bias. And that's really what this video comes down to, is that everybody has a bias, especially the big mainstream corporate owned media. I'm not saying every media entity is bought, but I will say even as low here as YouTube, remember, YouTube is owned by Google. I've been on this platform for 8 years. There are lots of opportunities for corruption on YouTube. Lots of them. I don't play that game. I believe in integrity. I believe in honesty. And if you can't trust what I'm telling you, why am I even here? I know there's people that think that just because I take review copies, that I hold up movies, that I can't talk negatively about them, or I can't tell you like it is. That's hogwash. I always tell you like it is. And I've lost relationships and burned bridges with people because I tell the truth. I just think that it's important that you know where I'm coming from on this, that I take it very seriously, that I'm telling you the truth, and that you don't have to worry that this is being filtered through some sort of a search for clicks or profits, when the whole world is being run on clicks. Going back to those reviews for that movie, it could be any movie, it could be any review. You will see in your suggested feed, when you fire up X or Twitter, when you fire up Facebook, when you fire up Instagram, you will see promoted posts that they'll have conflicting narratives. You might see one at lunchtime that's spreading one story, and then a couple of hours later, the same story, but from the other point of view, from the same outlet. Because they don't care. There's not a truth there. They're promoting clicks. And that's the whole world is running on clicks. Because when you get clicks, you get more followers. When you get more followers, you get more ad revenue. That is a system perpetuating every aspect of our society now. And we've got AI programs that know us so well, they can target right into what we want and hit us right where we live. You like that? Let me sell you this. It's all so soulless. So when I say the corporate media doesn't tell the truth, that's what I'm talking about. And you can think I'm a crackpot. I want to make a point though. I'm not coming at this from any sort of political perspective. As I've told you already, I don't have any particular faith in any particular party or any particular scene. I question everything. So I don't want to be put in a box about this, like, well, Heath's gone really left or Heath's gone really right. No, I've gone neither one of those things. Just think, we have this gift of discernment. Do not just accept the narrative that's being leveled at you. And more important than that, look for the bias in any situation. I'll go ahead and tell you, the bias behind Cereal at Midnight is I want you to watch more movies. The reason I started this channel is because nobody was talking about older movies. The people that were talking about older movies were older people. I'm like, well, I'm not old. I want to talk about movies from the 1930s and the 1940s for an audience that's my age. So that's one of the reasons I started this channel. My goal is to get you to experience things that are outside of the conventional path, right? Things that are on the periphery. Seek voices that do that. Seek voices that have an interest in perpetuating art, not just commerce. This is a perpetual struggle between art and commerce. Find somebody that's interested in the art too. That's not just selling something. I think about Nicholas Meyer, the director of Star Trek: The Wrath of Khan. Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan. Spoilers for The Wrath of Khan. I think we've all seen it, but just in case you haven't, I'm about to spoil it. So Spock dies at the end of that movie. And in Nicholas Meyer's book, he said, I intended for Spock to stay dead. We really thought we were killing Spock and that it was a sacrifice that was going to mean something. But who was I to argue with all that popcorn? Because the studio saw an opportunity to put more butts in seats by making another movie where you now go search for Spock. And so the artistic integrity that he had when creating that story went right out the window in the face of commerce. Commerce is running the show now. But find some outlets, find some people, and listen, if you don't trust me, don't watch me. If you think that I'm not telling you the truth, don't watch me. You're wasting your time. If you really don't believe anything that I'm saying, or you believe that I'm selling you a bill of goods, there's no reason for you to watch me. Find people that believe in telling the truth and reflecting their passion and their interest and just being honest about it. And that's what I try to do here. I don't know where else to take it. I think we did it. I think this unscripted video is done. So thank you guys for your time. If what I've said resonates with you, please subscribe. Please give a thumbs up. I talk a lot about movies, but sometimes I have to go on a little side tangent like this because it's important. Things like this matter. People go, hey, shut up and just talk about movies. Or, even worse, shut up and just show the disc. When you take the human element out of the experience of showing a disc, all that's left is a commercial. That's not me. And that doesn't mean we're not going to have sponsorships. I welcome good fitting sponsorships. That's something I believe in, that I can get behind. And I know you guys do too. Thanks for being with me. Thanks for making it through to this video. I would love to continue the conversation with you in the comments below. Till next time, I will catch you later.